Hey guys, and welcome to my video. So today we got quite an exciting one for you. We're going to be setting up a Raspberry Pi 2 to work as a Plex media server. So in a previous video, which you'll find the link here, we installed RasPlex. So that's the Plex client to pull media from your own sources. So running the Plex media server off a PC or a Mac. But what we're going to do today is actually set up the Plex media server and the transcoding to work from the Pi itself. And we're actually going to test that with another Pi running the RasPlex. We've got a bit of Pi on Pi action. So it's a reasonably technical video, so feel free to pause as I'm going through the setup. So this is how we do it. So for this experiment to work, we're going to need two Raspberry Pis. So we've got one there and one there. Obviously we're going to need two micro USBs to boot from. We're going to use this baby little network cable because they're quite happy to sit next to each other, so it can be really short and tidy. So we'll plug that in there like that. I'm going to use one of these power supplies, primarily because it's got two USB outputs. This little box produces 2.1 amps, which is more than sufficient for powering two Pis. So we'll have one of those. We're going to need two micro USB power cables. So we'll plug that one into there. And we will plug that one into there. The right way around. You can use a remote. Remember, the remote has a dongle as well. So we will be plugging this into our the unit that plugs into the television, because that's what we're going to be controlling. I like these particular remotes, the MPREX ones, primarily because they're Bluetooth and it actually comes with a receiver, and it doesn't need line of sight. A lot of these sort of remotes need line of sight. You could also use a little micro mini keyboard with a little touchpad. Just remember, if you're going to use one of those, that also uses a USB port. And finally, you need a USB pen with some media on it. So this one plugs into our NAS, because that's where we're going to be pulling the media from. And that's it. So let's see how it performs. So we're going to set up the Plex media server as I did in a previous video, but we've got a few extra steps and things that we need to do to make it talk to the RAS client. So we'll just go through the basics now. First thing to do is to expand the filing system, which is an absolute must. And also change your password to something secure. And then reboot. Next thing we need to do is the update and upgrade. This is essential. Because of the Plex Media transcoding tools actually does require one of the updated libraries. So once that comes back online, we'll log in with your set password. Do sudo apt-get update and sudo apt-get upgrade. So all very convenient and one command. Now this particular setup is going to work without the internet. So the idea being is that you can be in a holiday home or somewhere that doesn't have a signal, Plex does require you to log in. So if you've got no internet available, you can't use Plex, so which makes it a bit difficult. So we've got some settings to change to prevent the logon. So obviously to set this up, you need internet to start with, because it's got to download the upgrades from the internet, and we've also got to download the packages. But once it's all set up and you've got your media on the pen, then all being good, the RasPlex from 1Pi will take it from the Plex media server on the other Pi. Now the only thing that you won't have is any artwork, any covers or music or tunes or anything like that, unless the Plex media server was connected to the internet when the USB pen was plugged in. So basically it could access the meta libraries, download what it needed to, but if you added the media while the Plex is offline, you're just going to see blank boxes. Right, now that's finished, what we'll do is we'll set up NTFS. Now you might be recognizing some of these commands. Obviously it is similar to another video that I uploaded, but we have extra things to add, and I've also taken out a few things that weren't necessary for this particular video. So NTFS is basically the filing system that we're going to format our USB pens on. So we need to load that module here so that Pi can understand it. Once that's done, we're going to have a quick look at as disks, just to make sure that the name of the pen isn't what we expect. So in this particular case it's SDA1, which to be honest is the default, but if you've got multiple pens, you've got different names. So what we'll do is we will make this drive bootable mountable when it boots up. So we just do sudo nano / etc fs tab. And then what we do is we just put the name of the pen straight into here. So we just say /dev /sda1. So we're saying get this pen and mount it to this folder which we haven't created yet, but we'll call it USB HDD1. We're going to be using NTFS 3G, and the user that's going to be accessing it is going to be called Pi. So GID equals Pi, UID equals Pi. No airtime and 0 space 0. That's it. Press Ctrl X to save. Say yes and then enter. Sudo make directory /media /USB HDD1. Right. Next we're going to do is we're going to set the Pi to have a static IP address, because if you're out in the middle of nowhere with no internet, you haven't got a DHCP server, so therefore you're going to have a 169 address. So what we'll do is we'll just statically set it. So we just do sudo nano again, and this time we're going to be editing etc /network /interfaces. Right, and then on this line here it says DHCP, so we don't want DHCP, we want static. So we just tell it that, and then we tell it what we want to set it to. So in our particular case, I'm going to use 192.168.1.50. We'll give it a subnet mask. I'm not going to explain that because I'll bore the pants off you. So we'll just say 255.255.255.0. We're going to be using the network of 192.168.1.50. 25.1.0. So that we're just telling it basically any number of addresses on the network of 1. And finally, we set the gateway. So obviously when you're out and about, you don't have a gateway, but if you don't set it now, when you're connected to the internet in your house or wherever, you won't have a route out, so you won't be able to do any more downloading of covers or anything like that when the Pi is connected to the internet. So we still do need that gateway in there. So yeah, again, Control X to save. Right, next what we're going to do is we're going to set up what's called obviously the DHCP server. So obviously this kind of role is normally done by your router. So yeah, again, if you're out and about, you don't have one. So what we need to do is we need to make the Pi a DHCP server. So because what happens with the other Pi is it wants an address and it doesn't have one and it can't get one. So when RasPlex says give me an IP address, it's not connected to anything. So how can it get an IP address? So what we do is we turn the Pi into a DHCP server. So all we do sudo apt-get install DNS MASQ, and that downloads a DHCP. Once that's done, what we're going to do is we're going to make a copy of the configuration file, primarily so we've got a copy of the original file in case anything goes wrong. So it's always handy to make a backup. We just call it old. There you go, simple as that. And then what we do is we then edit that file. So sudo nano and then etc DNS masq.conf. Now this is full of absolutely tons of information which we don't need to go through today, otherwise you'd be falling asleep. So all we do is at the very top add interface equals eth0. So we're saying basically Ethernet port 0, which it always is the case with the Pi because there's only one Ethernet port. And we say DHCP range is equal to, so this is the range of addresses that your Pi is going to kick out. So if you've got a 15-bedroom caravan and you've got 15 Pis, then you're going to dish out 15 addresses. So in this particular case, we've only got one Pi connected to another Pi. So, but we'll still give it a range. So we'll do 168.1.60 because the address of the Pi is 50. So we'll say anything from 60 to 192.168.1.100. That gives us 40 addresses. A massive overkill, but we've got lots of addresses to play with. It doesn't really cause any harm. Sorry. So next you set 255.255.255.0. So that's the subnet mask we're going to hand out, and then we use comma 8 hours, so 8H. So basically that address is going to be valid for 8 hours. Yeah, again, Control X to save the file. Alright, next we're going to just load that config in just to make sure it's okay. So we do sudo service DNS MASQ restart. There we go, that seems to be successful. Right, now the fun stuff. We're going to download the latest version of Plex server. So we do sudo wget https //dev today.de/plex-latest. This is where the file system expansion came in at the beginning. If you hadn't have done that, this causes a fail. Some of the people in my previous videos skipped the SD card expansion bit, and this is producing an error. So it is important that you have enough disk space on your micro SD card. Right, so that's done. So what we'll do now is we'll install it basically, or compile it. So we do sudo dp kg -i, that's I, not an L, and then do Plex star. Just saves me typing it out. Let that go. Next, we need to install the transcoding tools. So we do sudo apt get install mkv tool nix lib expat fm ffm, I can never say that, fmmpeg -y. So this is if the Pi is talking to devices that it can't do direct play with. So like iPads and Androids. Finally, what we do is we do a sudo service Plex media server dot restart. Done. So that is successful. As easy as that. Next, we start up our interface, so start X, and we'll run as GUI. So menu, go into your web browser, and then do HTTP local host :32400/web. With a bit of luck and the coming wind, we'll have a Plex server, which we do. So we can see there we've got a Raspberry Pi, we've got no channels, got nothing. So what we need to do is go to the settings bit there and then click on server and then show advanced, because that just gives us everything that I want to see really. But enable for the RAS client to work without the internet, we need to go to network. And here, list of networks that are allowed without auth, or which means authentication. And in our case, it is 192.168.1.0. So that means anything on that address can log in, and we just do /24, which is a short way of doing the subnet mask. So hit save changes. What we want to do as well is if you go into library and just say update the library automatically and run a partial scan, so that when you plug in a pen with some media on it, it'll actually detect that and update automatically. So what we'll do is we'll just add in the content of the pen that I've got connected to it. So in this, as the example, I've got some TV shows, so we just got TV shows. So I'm going to call this Pi TV shows. And we go to add folder. Now there's the folder that we created earlier, and this is the contents of it. So we're just going to TV, add, like that, and then say add library, and it should pick up a couple that I've put on there just as a little tester. Now we are connected to the internet here, so it should download the media, artwork and music and so on. So you can see they're downloading metadata. So it's picked up that we've got 2 episodes in there and 1 episode in there. And this little icon here just means that it's actually updating. So if we actually go in there, we'll see there's still nothing. I mean, we can actually click on it and it will show us the 2 episodes that we've got, but there's still no artwork yet. It'll be here in a second. There we go. Cool. So we've got Constantine and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the backgrounds will appear. There you go. So it is all coming through, all working fine. So when you actually click on that, there you go. So all the metadata, everything's pulled down fine. So remember, once you've disconnected from the internet, that's it. Your library will be as is. Anything that's added, you'll just have empty grey boxes until the next time the Pi is added to the web. So what we'll do now is we will swap over to our client. So what we'll do is we'll disconnect the Pi from the internet. So we are in solo mode. So just to show you that, so we've got a self-contained cable. Try and keep that down. We'll just switch over to this side. So as you can see, the lights are blinking in order there. Try and keep the cable down. So the first thing we'll do is we'll go into his preferences, just to sort of check the output's 1080p, and also just to make sure that we've got a direct play. So there we have direct play there. And as we can also see, it's trying to sign in, but it can't because it's got no internet. And then when we go down to advanced, we've got 1080p at 60 frames. So let's go to as TV shows and we'll have a look at the first one. So it's very quick at navigating the menus. And here we go.
Previously on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I swore an oath.
We all did. To protect the world against the much weirder world.
It's
And that is
gotta be some
absolutely
sort of
spot on.
activation signal to Hydra members within S.H.I.E.L.D.
We've had a wolf in the herd.
And there we have it, folks. 1080p working directly from another Pi. So we'll just have a quick look at another show. Oops, too far. We go to that. Go, Constantine.
Previously on Constantine.
I always took you for a voodoo priest.
Yeah,
with
again
a
another successful
flair for
demonstration.
dramatic.
I do what's needed.
So there you have it, folks. That is how you connect two pies together to create a combined Plex solution.
I'd like you to get on your hotline.
So thanks for watching. If you like, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more content. And until next time, see you later.